Peace family, be sure to join us today. I think we're gonna talk about some Maat today, right? We're gonna talk about Maat. Truth, justice, righteousness, reciprocity, balance, order. Now we step in harmony. So be sure to check in on us right after the music. Peace. Oh man, I ain't giving myself a countdown. Hold on. Alright fam, so we up early in the morning. Not really as early as I should be. Now, let me tell you something though, right? When you start setting patterns for yourself, right? You're moving on the system, right? Something could go wrong. One piece could go wrong in the system. Like yesterday, I raced my Timely. It's a beautiful app off of it's on iOS and Android. I don't know why I said iOS first because I don't even use that shit. But anyway, Timely is alarm, not even an alarm, because it don't shock you to wake up. It coaxes you up out of your dream state. It 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 it, it moves you from one state of consciousness or from unconsciousness into consciousness by kind of coaxing you. So it's not really an alarm, but it will get you up. It starts off real low and it kind of helps move you from sleep to wakefulness, right? And I didn't have mine set this morning. I accidentally erased it yesterday, doing some experiments with my phone. You know I'm always experimenting with stuff, so I kind of erased it. So I'm up kind of late today, so I apologize. I mean, actually, those in YouTube, y'all won't even know it. You know what I'm saying? But I like being upfront with my family, right? You know what I'm saying? Those of you that take the time to watch me, I like being upfront with you, right? Now, y'all might have been noticing I haven't had the discussion part. So I'm gonna first off I gotta open up the new what is it called? I gotta open up the new. It's not a timeline. The new discussion. It's like so. Daily Toast has its own playlist, right? And I just started one called DT, which is Daily Toast Discussions, right? DT Discussions. And I gotta open that playlist to y'all for y'all so that y'all keep up because I'm doing a Daily Toast, then I'm doing a Daily Toast Discussion. This is the Daily Toast Discussion. Actually, the toast is the most important part, but I separate it because I want people to be able to know exactly what they're getting. Because sometime on the Daily Toast I go off and do my thing, but I want to make sure people understand that the Daily Toast is a little bit separate from the discussion, because the discussion allows us to look into different things, allows us to look into the herbs and look into different products that we may use. This is a product that was produced by my brother's company, and long story behind that one, but I keep one up on the table to, keep me focused on part of the stuff, part of what I'm supposed to be doing. And what I want to talk with y'all about today is, because since we are the Kemetic New Year, right, and we are in a special time, right? We're moving out of the special time, and as I explained to y'all before, when you looked at the beginning of the universe, you had two deities. Now, I want you to understand. Today we're talking about Maat, so I want to make sure that you have a basic understanding of it, because a lot of people, we just say the term Maat and we just assume that people understand what we're talking about. So Maat is, I would say, like the pole star of the mythic system that formulates the Kemetic or the ancient Egyptian myth system. It's like the pole star of the mythic system, and Maat's influence is so profound that you could find her all throughout Africa. You could find her in West Asia. You could find her in the Middle Asians. You could find her even in the Far East Asians, right? And the piece that Maat brought was that Maat brought the concept, or she embodies, and I want to stress the she piece, right? Because it's important to understand that when we get into the whole African spirituality piece, right, we really start looking at it, right, we start seeing that something's not right about how we deal with women in this culture. Actually, it's right for this culture, right? This is just how they deal with their women, right? Now, when we look at the feminine aspect in African traditions, and we look at it even in Far East traditions, even though they don't act like this, right? We look at the woman, or we look at the feminine. The feminine represents. Now, I want some of you men to gird up your loins and listen. You know what I'm saying? Because your feelings about to get hurt, right? The feminine aspect represents that unlimited potential. Okay? So the female deities will represent that infinite underlying power. They will represent the mysterious power of, like, the ocean, or they will represent the mysterious power of outer space, right? Or the mysterious power that hold the stars in the sky. This is the feminine quality, right? So they represent the infinite aspect of the universe. Then the masculine piece would often represent the limited aspects of nature. So rather than it being Mother Earth, for us it would be Father Earth, right? Now, a lot of y'all like, oh man, that's messed up. No, because if there was no finite, there would be no infinite. See, and this was Maat brings. Maat brings the idea of balance. This is why my latest book is called Freedom Within Limits, right? Because as men, we have to start learning how to operate within the limits we have been provided. And within the limits, our limits is exactly the points in our life where the finite meets the infinite. And in between the finite and the infinite is where our power lies. Being able to work within the limits. Many of us, because we haven't been taught to work within our limits. Many of us, because we weren't even taught about the aspect of limits, right? We are missing a major piece of who we are, right? This is what the hero's journey or the rites of passage will help us identify, right? Because we have to bump our head up against our limits, and we have to understand that what we perceived as our limits, you know what I'm saying? What we perceive as our limits are not really our limits, right? We would really start seeing where our limits were, rather than seeing the illusion that the world throws on us. Because most of us got to understand, most of us don't even understand that the person that we are right now, right? The person that most of us are acting as right now is the person that the outside world created for you. Most of us have not taken an inward journey to find out who we really are. Now bringing it all the way back to Maya, all right? So Maya was the feminine principle that represents truth, justice, righteousness, reciprocity, balance, order, harmony, right? And she sat at the center of the spiritual system. She sat at the center of the life system. She sat at the center of the political system. She sat at the center of the economic system. All these things flowed properly because Maya was there, right? So by us learning to practice Maya amongst us, right? Amongst us. See, because the problem with a lot of us is that we haven't learned to distinguish between the outside and the inside. We haven't, and so I'm not just talking about far as us as human beings, the outside and the inside of us, right? So that's one part. Many of us have not, or as Brother Kwame said this morning, many of us have not been able to distinguish the real from the unreal, right? The what's in us and what's outside of us. But even deeper, not even deeper, because this is even more shallow. Many of us have not figured out that everybody that's around us is not for us, and everybody that is around us is not part of us, right? Many of us are operating in hostile territory, in hostile environments, trying to be peaceful with individuals who could give two fucks about how you exist, or whether or not you are victorious, or whether or not you continue your existence. I hate to break it to you in that way, right? So many of us are practicing truth. Many of us are practicing being just with others. Many of us are practicing reciprocity and practicing and trying to bring balance in our life, right? But we're practicing it with the wrong people. Family, this is why I keep telling you it's important to start building up your tribe, because if you don't practice Maya properly and in the proper spaces, you become a victim. Right? See, because one of the things that a lot of us don't talk about with Maya is that Maya always had a protector. Right? Maya, in her limitlessness, in her beauty, in her justice, always had warriors that went out to make sure that the balance was maintained. So in Ram Nefer, a man's piece, as far as that, you had Herakuti, chief warrior, would make sure that when Maya does not follow, that he was out in the field of battle, making sure that Maya was maintained, right? That's that reciprocity piece, right? And this is the key point is, the key idea is that we need to learn to first practice these principles with ourselves and with our families and within our tribes before we start trying to exercise it with others, right? Most of our politicians don't give a damn about Maat. They're operating on a whole nother system. We don't even understand that other people operate under different belief systems than us, even though we claim the same belief system. Many of us found it hard to believe that a majority of the Ku Klux Klan were Christians, God-fearing Christians, right? But you just didn't fit into their Christianity, right? Many of us find it hard to believe that many of the Allah-fearing Muslims would have sold us into slavery, because many of us was Muslims. Yeah, they practice Islam just like you, but they practice a different Islam. Right? You may be the only universal people, family. Right? And the only thing I'm saying is, let's take some of that universal love. Let's take some of that universal forgiveness. Let's take some of that universal strength and start applying it to ourselves and to our immediate families and to the tribes that we're trying to build. See, because it strikes me as crazy that many of us, it's not all, many of us, I did a pause and the damn thing cut off on me once again. I don't know what's going on, but the piece I was trying to, the point I'm trying to get to is that we need to start practicing the concept of Maya first within our circles and mastering it within our circles rather than trying to practice it with everybody. Because different groups may not thrive on peace, especially peace with those that they perceive as others. All right? There's some virtues of Maya, you know what I'm saying? And once again, Brother Kwame brought one up, the ability to distinguish the real from the unreal. Right? Many of us are living in an unreal vision of the world, an unhealthy vision of the world. And through us coming together in the way we do, we have an opportunity to explore what's healthy, right? And I'm not saying that I know, because I struggle with some of the same things that you struggle with. So I'm not going to pretend that I know. But what I'm going to tell you is some of the stuff that we practice is not healthy or good for us, right? I love peace. I love peace. But sometimes peace may not be one of the best methods of dealing with some folk. You know what I'm saying? Some folk will sacrifice you to their deity. I'm just letting you know it's real out here. It's real out here. And the piece that I want to bring to you is, why are you trying to force a myotic worldview on somebody who operates under its fit, or under chaos, or under injustice, right? If they worship that, why are you trying to bring them or operate with them in that fashion, right? So we got to learn how, once again, this gets back to those borders: truth, justice, righteousness, reciprocity, balance, order, and harmony. We are able to operate in truth. We are able to operate in justice. We are able to operate truth, justice, righteousness. We're able to operate in righteousness. We're able to truth, justice, righteousness. We're able to operate in reciprocity. We're able to operate in balance. You know what I'm saying? We're able to operate in harmony. Right? Once we are able to identify our borders, right? Freedom within our limits, right? Once again, recognizing the infinity of the universe, right? But as mortal beings, right? The masculine part of us need to one identify our borders so that we can safely practice who we are and what we are within our borders. So we can safely teach our children where to practice what we're talking about and where to discuss what we are discussing. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us don't know. A lot of us don't. I mean, that kind of escapes us, because we just believe everybody just want the right thing. Not even realizing they do want the right thing, but what they view as the right thing is different than what you view as the right thing. All right, family, this is Brother Tim. I'm up and out of here. Hopefully we got a little bit, and you got a little bit of something out of here, out of this discussion about my art. I'm very limited in my studies, but I try to share what I have because I don't believe that we need to be sitting on information any longer. We need to at least put it out there. Those of you who know a little bit more, feel free to share. You know what I'm saying? Those of you who learning something new, don't just stop at my word. You know what I'm saying? Start building your word, all right? And with that, I'm out. Told you and I say, Ashe. Ashe. And I pray that your day will be as beautiful as you are. Thank you for watching the video. I want you to subscribe. Click the bird right there, the fiery bird. And I also have a special video just for you, right there. And for those that want more information about Nyame Journey, go to our site. It should be right about there.